King Arthur is a 2017 film directed by Guy Ritchie, starring Charlie Hunnam as Arthur and Jude Law as Vortigern, his uncle. Let's talk about this movie. I'd heard that this movie was bad. It's not one that I rushed out to watch, but I saw it was available at my local library. I thought, well, it's free. I'll check it out. I'll withhold my opinion, watch it, and see what I think. And I could tell you right at the beginning, in the first 10 minutes of this, that I was going to hate it. But before I totally rip this to shreds, I do want to say about Guy Ritchie that I actually enjoy his film, his debut film, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I think that this movie is really funny. It's got great, it's just great. I just like it. His follow-up, Snatch, I like as well. And then I think that that's where he peaked, and I think it's all been downhill since then. Tried Rock and Rolla, didn't like it, didn't like his Sherlock Holmes movies. Just, it's all, some directors are like that. I mean, look at Tim Burton, his early stuff. And it's all been downhill. It's like, I just think that everything after Batman Returns has been bad. But that's just me, whatever. I'm just going to say, not a big Guy Ritchie fan. I like I like those two movies, and that's it. Okay, so now that's out of the way. This movie opens up with Mordred attacking Uther's kingdom. Uther Pendragon, played by Eric Bana, who was in Ang Lee's Incredible Hulk. He was also in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek as Nero. So he's Uther in this, and he has Excalibur, and Mordred is a mage who is attacking Uther's kingdom on giant elephants that are the size of kaiju. And I'm just like, what is happening? Because Mordred is supposed to be Arthur's illegitimate child, either with his aunt Margaux or with his half-sister Morgana or Morgan Le Fay, and all the stories I've read. And then, so Uther takes Excalibur, he slays Mordred, the elephants die, and everybody's safe. But then, Vortigern, who is Uther Pendragon's brother in this, why is he his brother? In all the medieval literature I've read, Vortigern has always been a usurper of the kingdom who drives off Uther and, in some cases, Uther's brother, and they have to flee, and then they return to defeat him. So they're taking aspects of the Merlin legend here and melding it, and it doesn't work because Vortigern kills Uther, and Igraine dies, and then Arthur flees in a boat to Londinium, where everybody speaks with a Cockney accent that's worse than the accent of Dick Van Dyke. Hello, Mary Poppins. Hello. I don't know what I was doing. I was doing like an Australian. I can't do accents, dude. I'm just saying, it's a disaster. The movie's a disaster. All right? It cuts from this high fantasy generic gobbledygook that has Arthurian legend superimposed on top of it to turn into Arthur's raised by prostitutes in a brothel in Londinium instead of Sir Ector and Sir Kay. Sir Kay is not in this. Sir Ector's not in this. There's no Guinevere. There's no Merlin. Well, I take that back. Merlin is in a flashback sequence by Sir Exposition, Bedivere. Bedivere tells him that Merlin took Mordred's staff and forged it into Excalibur, who then gave it to the Lady of the Lake, and the Lady of the Lake bonded it to the Pendragon bloodline, so only Arthur can wield it. But when Arthur wields it with two hands, only when he's got two hands, he passes out from the power. So he has to learn how to use the power. And a person shows up who's a female. It's not Merlin, who's called Mage. She doesn't even have a name. It's just Mage. And the Mage says, he has to go to the Darklands. And then Bedivere's like, no, absolutely not. Then he's got to go to the Darklands. Then he fights like a mega rat and a mega bat and a mega snake, and then he places the sword on an altar, and he has total recall where he remembers everything, and then it jumps to some assassination attempt that goes bad, and they're like, it's bad, but this guy named what is he, an archer named Goose Fat or something like that? Never mind. I don't know. I don't really care. This movie was a waste of my time. I've watched it. It took me 3 days to watch this movie because I kept on like falling asleep because I was watching it when I got home from work. So I'd like watch it and I'd be like, because it's just so CG crap fest. I mean, like an overabundance of CG, and it's incomprehensible and it doesn't make any sense. Listen, there's certain aspects, like if I say to you, okay, let me say to you, right, tell me the essentials of Batman, right? Let's talk about Batman as a character. And you'd say, yeah, Batman. His parents were killed when he was young, so he's an orphan. And then he lives in Gotham City. And Gotham City is a place riddled with crime. So he chose to become Batman in order to avenge his parents' death. And he becomes the Caped Crusader, the crime fighter, the world's greatest detective, the Dark Knight. And his guy that he partners with is one of the people in Gotham City that's not corrupt. Jim Gordon. Okay, bare essentials. You can add in Robin as a sidekick. Think about that, okay? You got the bare essentials. You understand, like, the bare essentials. You could do the same thing about Superman. Comes from the planet Krypton that got blown up. His mother and father, they both died. He comes to Earth, and they find him, and he's raised as an orphan, okay? He ends up becoming raised by the Kent family, and then he goes to Metropolis and becomes a reporter for the Daily Planet, where he becomes like romantically drawn towards Lois Lane, and then you got Jimmy Olsen. Okay, we got the bare essentials. They do none of that. There's bare essentials of the Arthurian legend that become fixed, that are like, you can't deviate from these. Now you can play in the sandbox, but like they're totally abandoned. Like, none of that stuff is in here. None of it. No Sir Ector, no Sir Kay. Okay, you can take or leave Lancelot. He's not it, but gotta have Guinevere. There's no Guinevere. There's, like, Mordred is supposed to be his rival, but Mordred gets killed at the beginning of the movie by Uther. And then Arthur's facing off against Vortigern, so they've reversed the roles, because Vortigern is supposed to be Uther's nemesis. It's like, and then you have Arthur raised in a brothel by prostitutes. I don't get it. This movie, editorially, stylistically, it keeps on changing. It's jumped between high fantasy, Lord of the Rings ripoff with literal, like, Nazgul inspired designs to a caper heist type film. Every boy got a Cockney accent. Mary Poppins. No offense, Charlie Hunnam. You shouldn't have done this movie. I think it destroyed your career. I like Charlie Hunnam. But people didn't like Pacific Rim. I love Pacific Rim. So doing Pacific Rim and then doing this back to back, like, I think your shot at a leading role in a Hollywood film is over, because 2 box office bombs, it's done. Jude Law was good in this, but the movie itself is a 1-star crap fest. That's all I got to say about it. I'm not going to go on any longer. I watched it, so you don't have to. Watch something good. Watch, even the 2004 Clive Owen King Arthur movie. As much as I don't like that, I would watch that 10 times before this. I would rather watch Sword of the Valiant with Sean Connery as the Green Knight. And that's bad. I'd rather watch that before I ever watch this again. That's it. That's all I've got. God bless. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.